All right, it is Tuesday night in Toonie Town, so that can only mean one thing. It is time for the fastest rising pro wrestling live stream podcast on the internet today. It is time for Toonie Talk Wrestling. Folks, my name is Marvin, and I am the Movie Monster, and I'm excited to be back with the greatest audience in the wrestling world here to talk. There has not been a greater wrestling audience since the ECW arena in the mid to late 90s. You guys are the best of the best. And, speaking of the best of the best, I've got the best of the best here with me as well. Big shout out to our friend, our colleague, our producer and mod extraordinaire, AEW Neckbeards, manning the chat with you guys here tonight, keeping you guys company. Make sure you guys throw some love and follow him over there on the X. I believe it is AEW Neckbeard singular over there. Beard, correct me if I'm wrong on that. It's just I very rarely type in the full name when I'm searching for your stuff on X, which I do pretty much every day because Beard's X account, I mean, if you're a wrestling fan, it is one of the best follows you can possibly have. But I gush about my friends enough, folks. Time to bring out somebody I don't like. Dis, what up?
You gush.
I do, man. He mattress protector. But the how are you, buddy?
I'm okay. My voice is a little wobbly, so if I pop out or my voice cracks and I sound like a 12-year-old boy, that's why.
Right. No, that makes sense.
Sweet cherry, make it hot.
Awful Wrestling is here, ladies and gentlemen. That's still not gotten old.
No, it hasn't. Between gushing and 12-year-old kids, what are you guys talking about over here? What the hell?
What's going on, buddy? Hey, I have it on good authority that Kevin Apollo will be here tonight. So he's just
making the wrestler's entrance.
Yeah, he's got to come in with the run-in when like it truly when it truly hits. So guys, this is obviously a show made for you and financed by you. We count on your generous super chats to keep the lights on around here and keep the Toonie Town Wrestling channel moving right along, footloose and fancy free, as a great man once said. We read your super chats in between each story. We do take breaks for super chats of $50 or more, and oh my goodness, Regina Sharp checking in for $50 says, oh, and I nearly forgot. They fumbled Thekla. Thank you. I don't get this one.
You don't know who Thekla is?
I think this goes along with Regina's other super chats, which were not the $50 one. So if I had pre-read them. Okay, so we're going to go in order here. Hold on. Regina Sharp for $10 says one of two new from
Glom Gold
is a whole new brand of, oh my goodness, you're making I gotta start putting all these together.
Rising to the top, push it to the edge, give it all you got, barely break a sweat, strong woman, strong.
When your femininity is in doubt, Strong Woman supplements ensure there can be little doubt of what you are.
Go, strong woman, go. I can't tell you how free I feel now that I've started identifying as a woman.
Regina Sharp for $10 also is endorsed by the 1980 East German swim team. Glomgold Industries is not liable for any cancers and or braying. And then that ties into, and I nearly forgot, they fumbled Thekla. Thank you. What's okay? It's awful. What am I missing here?
I don't know anymore.
Thekla debuted in AEW about a month ago. She's a lady. And then Mercedes immediately went back to her country and won her title that she had before she came to AEW.
Oh, okay, that's the one.
And then she kind of went away. So
is that the girl from Austria?
No, I'm sorry. Awful. I mean, beard popped me. Sorry about that. Yes, that's the girl from Austria that we joked about being Australian.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
She did the Bray Wyatt spider walk, and everyone was like, she's great. And then,
well, I mean, Tony Khan fumbling, a new talent. That's day that ends in Y. But Regina Sharp, thank you very much for $70 worth of super chats to pick us up here. So you know what? We have a little clip that we like to play when we get big super chats.
We got one!
Awesome. Thank you very, very much, Regina Sharp. All right, let's see what the rest of y'all had to say this week. You guys are a chatty bunch this week. Blazing Bolts for $5 says, "What's up, Marv? You like my new look? We're part of the bloodline of Muppets now. Hashtag Team Muppets." I love that. Oscar the Grouch driving in the sloppy jalopy. I love that. Fantastic work, Blazing Bolts. I approve. Zach K for $5 saying the "That's Dave for You" segment can take up the entirety of this podcast. He has been on stupidity heater the past couple of days alone. Look, dude, how many Dave clips do we have this week? 1, 2, 3,
20.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
20.
9, 10, 11. No, and you said I think there's at least 18.
There's if you count the ones that aren't exactly Dave related, but aren't Dave, but Dave related,
adjacent.
20. Yeah, it's 20 clips. 20 things
Wow.
people.
He has been having a week, man. He has just been melting down for an entire. He's been melting down for an entire week. It's been crazy.
It's almost as bad as when he got something right. Like that was the only one that was worse when he crashed out.
Yeah,
and got something right. But this
he didn't know what to do with himself.
Right. This week got something really wrong and very publicly. So yeah. Well.
Arthur Jennings for $15 Australian says, "You guys are on at 10 a.m. in Australia. Between replacing marks for black people and Tony being a cuck in his boat, if my headphones fail, I'll lose my job. Love the show. Enjoy." Oh, let's hope that your headphones never fail, my friend. Keep those
Australians straight to the point.
Look, the Australians, these are people that use the C word like it's going out of style. So, I gotta,
We got another one.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Christopher Miller for $50 says, "As much as I loathe AEW man children of the House of Dave, I'm also in utter disgust of WWE sheep who sing Rollins' theme song and yeet till they pull a Pedro on their glow sticks. For the love of Rowdy, boo heels. Sorry, had to vent." And then he closes it up with a nice, strong, manly. There we go. You know what? I'm with you. I missed the era where we booed heels and we cheered faces. It's just I don't like the sing along stuff. I guess it kind of started with The Rock, right? Like the sing along with the catchphrases, and it just kind of snowballed from there.
I mean, if you want to get technically, I think it was an indie thing. Like the first song people were singing was probably like
The Sandman.
Bryan Danielson. No, I'm talking about in the indies, like in ROH, they were doing Final Countdown with Bryan Danielson.
Yeah, but the ECW fans were singing Enter the Sandman long before there was an ROH.
Right. Yeah. But I'm saying with ROH,
that made the Sandman cool. Like that was the thing that made the Sandman amazing. Right. Was the fact that the fans sang along with him. Go ahead, Jason. I'm sorry.
That's what I was getting to. When it started in ROH with Bryan Danielson, then it started happening with everyone in ROH, and then the smart fans started doing it in WWE, and now everyone does it in WWE. That's apparently they're changing Seth's theme song, which I'm surprised they didn't do before they turned him, but
they're changing it so they don't sing along with him.
They're changing his theme song. The word is that they're writing a new theme song for him right now. So.
Good.
Yeah.
He's a heel, damn it. But Christopher Miller, thank you so very much, my friend. Big time appreciate that. You know what? I'm not going to play the same clip again because we just played it. So I will find a clip that properly. You know what? Here it is.
Being a dog, I like to prey on my opponents. You see, in the dog pound is to beat hard times. When you boys get the Halloween havoc, I'm gonna be Peter, the pumpkin eater, and it's gonna be my party. Ricky's not Halloween, it's Bob Bra. You know, Mean Gene. Before the hens in the pen can go hot cock a doodle doo, mean the dog face to a gremlin or training.
And there you go. I actually just watched a really good WWE Vault video the other day. They have one on Goldberg's streak.
Oh,
like
okay.
this thing they're doing now. It's like a they do like these mini documentaries that are like an hour long and like not a lot of production value. There's maybe like 3 people being interviewed. This one's great because it's just Goldberg and Nash shooting at each other. It's so good. I mean, Goldberg talks about his career and stuff, but once we get to Kevin Nash, Goldberg is like, Goldberg insinuates that Nash booked himself to end the streak, mostly because Nash booked himself to end the streak, and Nash doesn't understand why Goldberg believes that he was the booker during that period of time, other than the fact that he was the booker during that period of time.
You're talking
DDP's all over. DDP's all over too. Yeah, on the WWE Vault channel, my new favorite channel.
They put out something. Apparently, they're looking for like lost stuff now. They're like kind of combing.
Oh, that's interesting.
Trying to find lost matches and things people have been talking. They found something called Cyber Slam from WCW, where it's like wrestlers wrestling on a green screen, where they can replace it to like a virtual audience and stuff. So that stuff's going to be coming out soon.
That's cool. That's really cool. I honestly think that this is because when Netflix inevitably buys out the WWE content from Peacock, all of the Vault stuff is going to go on YouTube.
Yeah.
Like all of the old pay-per-views, all the territories, all the Nitros, all the Raws, I think they're all going to go up on YouTube for free, which it should, because that's pure profit for WWE. It's just the ad revenue they will make on that is immense.
Right.
So
YouTube will be happy with that too.
and at the end of the day, WWE will then be heavily featured on the 2 biggest streaming platforms on the planet, which is Netflix and YouTube. YouTube being number 1, and it's not close. Like they are not closely 1 and 2. YouTube is far and away number 1.
Yeah.
So
the fact that WWE is the number 1 sports brand on YouTube is a huge deal that no one talks about ever.
Yep. Anthony J for $5 says, with Paul Heyman now known as the Oracle, can he at least he can walk barely? Well, he's got one offer on the other Oracle then. John Williams for $9.99 says our PLE is going to be great because it takes place in Saudi Arabia, a place with fine dining establishments, lovely peaches, and an active war zone going on in the back of your consciousness. I can't believe they're going there. I can't believe it. I cannot believe. Look, I mean, we're going to talk. It's going to be the first thing we talk about. I'm trying to vamp to give Kev more time to get here. You and cue me up for $199. Power of the 199 says, how much for Lorne to watch All In? Yeah, we're not going to subject Lorne to that. And you wouldn't want to anyway. Lorne knows nothing about wrestling. I don't know if Lorne's ever seen a wrestling show in his life. So, we did on Patreon have Nolan watch his first ever wrestling match, and that was really fun. Andre Adams for $19.99 says, did Ricochet honestly think he could fire a shot at Cornette and not get flamed? Oh, what happened there?
This is the first I've heard of it.
I have not heard of this.
Yeah. This is the first I've heard of it. If someone
somebody's got to let us know what happened if Twitter Ricky actually went at Cornette, because that is that's dumb and a half, as an old friend of mine used to say.
Andre Adams, send pictures or BTFO.
Yeah, please. CWJ 128 for $5 says, I'm an expert in Saudi Iranian relations because I study. No need to listen to anyone at the Pentagon. $14.99, please. Hope all is well. Hope all is well with you, CWJ 128. We're going to take a quick break from Super Chats there. We'll get back to the rest of them in between our next story. So make sure you guys keep them coming to continue the conversation. We always love hearing you, and we do stop for $50 or more. So if $50 comes in, we stop whatever we're doing, even mid-topic, and we read what you guys have to say. All right, guys. So Saturday, we are going to be live for Night of Champions. We are not going to be live from Saudi Arabia, obviously, because I'd rather die, but then go into an area that's basically nestled in between an active war zone. I really thought they were going to have to call it off. I really did.
Really?
No, it was getting scary.
I
hate to get geopolitical.
Yeah, they're not going to start a war with Saudi Arabia. That's not
right.
No,
but Saudi Arabia is like right in the middle of it all. So
sure,
it gets shot down, or you never know what's going to happen. It's just not it's not a very stable area right now. Dis is what I'm trying.
I agree with you on that. Like I was saying all week, I was saying both this. I totally understand if they cancel it. I'm not gonna bat an eye if they cancel it. Of course, cancel it if that's your call. But also the people saying like they're putting them in there. They're gonna get bombed. We're gonna see WWE wrestlers held hostage by the Iranians and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's not. I mean, the Iranians aren't in Saudi Arabia, but still, it's irresponsible to go there. I actually really think that this is not a thing they should be doing. Now what did I see? Did Dominic refuse to go?
No, he's injured.
Oh man, he was just cooking too. That's but no,
what injury does he have? This
rib injury, apparently.
I think it's doesn't want to go to Saudi Arabia. Idisosis.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah,
That's what's going around apparently.
Oh, hold on. Beard, I think just came through.
Okay, awesome.
Hold on. I have got the. I think I've got the tweets.
You may have the tweet.
Yeah. No, this is definitely it. Hold on.
We are all waiting with bated breath.
Sorry, I had not planned.
Oh, this is good. This is good. This is good drama.
Awful. Let's talk about the people who have been saying that Triple H made this decision. That he's the
like Triple H. It's fun to like put everything at Triple H, because then you could like make fun of Triple H, but like he's the chief creative officer. He decides who wins and who loses. He does not make command decisions about whether they're going to foreign countries. Like right. People just think that he's Vince now. Like they think because it would have been Vince's call, and Vince would have, also been in charge of all of this stuff. So,
and to be clear, that title role is now occupied by Nick Khan, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Nick Khan and Triple H split duties. Triple H is in charge of the creative part of it, and Nick Khan's in charge of the business part of it. So
right. Okay, so guys, I'm reading this cold. I have not pre-read this before. So let's see. Right. Jim Cornette, so he's sharing an Air Gold post. It says, since coming to AEW, the Hurt Syndicate have buried all the baby faces, both on the mic and in the ring. This week, they had one simple spot where they were supposed to actually bump, and they completely botched it, and not for the first time. So I'm not playing the clip because it's an AEW clip and we're not allowed to do that. So, but Jim Cornette says, another reason why AEW's indie level talent will never improve their in-ring game. Their fans keep telling them they're good at the occasion. And the occasional real pros that wander in are making the mistakes. Hong Kong Phooey and Pal need to stick to basics until they can get that stuff right. And then, let's see. Where's the Ricochet thing?
We saw that. We saw you.
I love it.
DMs. Let's get into it.
Marv told me I was muted, so I'm all good.
So Wrestling and Whatever responded with, King Ricochet, your thoughts on this? And he goes, who cares what he thinks? With a blistering comeback like this, no wonder you're the king of comeback tweet deletion. Why didn't Tony hire you, your own writer, too?
And there's the flame, I guess.
There were comments under it. Did he reply? Did we see if he replied? Because there were like 12 replies to the Cornette post.
I'm sure none of them are Cornette.
Oh, no, I meant Ricochet. Here.
Hold on, let me see. No, none of them seem. None of them appear to be Ricochet.
Okay.
I don't know why I had him muted. I was like, oh, who the heck is this that I muted? And then I saw who it was. I was like, wait, what? There must have been a big long thread one day that I was sick and tired of.
It's probably because he defended Mercedes and it was annoying or something. Like that's
maybe I don't know, man. That's weird. That's weird. Ugh. Well, anyway, that Twitter account is all for promotion of the Toontown channels now. So because I'm tired of having a personal Twitter because I hate it because it's a cesspool and the IWC sucks. But anyway, yeah, Jim Cornette rocking like a hurricane. But let's focus back up on the Saudi Arabian thing.
I posted a link. The first link in our chat is to a story about this that kind of gives a timeline of all the coverage.
All right.
So
Perfect. All right, so let's take a look at this. Thank you, Dis, for pulling that. This one comes to us from CagesideSeats.com. So let's have a look. Oh, jeez. Hold on.
I did it because the original story they left up the original story and just added updates to the bottom, so you can actually see how it progressed.
All right. So, with the United States joining Israel's war against Iran over the weekend, wrestling fans and industry observers were already asking about possible changes to WWE's plans to run the June 27th SmackDown and the Night of Champions premium live event the following day in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, after Iran retaliated by firing ballistic missiles at Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar today, June 23rd. Questions about WWE's plans, have more urgency. Both the U.S. and the United Kingdom have instructed their citizens in Qatar to shelter in place, and Qatar had closed their airspace in the hours before Iran's attack. There's currently no indication when those orders will be lifted. Journalists on the ground report hearing explosions, but both Qatar's foreign ministry and U.S. defense sources say that the base was evacuated prior to Iran's launch, and there have been no casualties. Now, Fightful Select reports that talent are scheduled to take chartered flights to Saudi Arabia midweek. The Wrestling Observer has learned, however, that some production employees who flew in advance are now stranded at the airport in Qatar due to the safety orders. Qatar shares a border with Saudi Arabia on the Arabian Peninsula. I think that was the issue, is that rockets were flying over Saudi Arabia to get to Qatar.
Well, the Qatar thing is funny because PW Insider, right after that went up, posted a thing saying their flights were delayed. Like, they were stranded in an airport for like 2 hours. It wasn't like they were there for days. They were.
Oh, God. Was it really only 2 hours?
It was just, I don't know if it was exactly 2 hours, but it wasn't like Dave was trying to insinuate that it was, they're stuck there and who knows if they're getting out. When
they've all been taken hostage now.
Yeah, but it was just their flight. So.
Good Lord. All right, so social media has seen talk of Saudi airspace being closed and U.S. fighter jets scrambling over the kingdom. Official reporting has yet to confirm either. Airlines are also canceling flights to and through the region. Adding to the confusion, a Reuters article today on the attack reads, after briefly closing their airspace, Bahrain and Kuwait both reopened them. According to state news media, Dubai Airport said its operations had resumed after a brief suspension, though it warned of delays or cancellations on social media site X. Qatar also closed its airspace. The conflict has already cut off major flight routes to typically resilient aviation hubs such as Dubai, with the world's busiest international airport in Qatar's capital of Doha. The usually busy airspace stretching from Iran to Iraq in the Mediterranean resembles a ghost town devoid of commercial air traffic due to the airspace closures and safety concerns. Air India said on Monday that it had stopped all operations to the Middle East, but also flights to North America's East Coast and Europe. This included diverting flights already in the air back to their takeoff site and away from closed airspaces. Oh, could you imagine, like, you're leaving India and they're like, nope, we're turning around and going back to India.
There's a whole other side of the world they could go around. That's just lazy, in my opinion.
Seriously, like, you act like you can't fly over the heartland. WWE hasn't commented publicly on SmackDown or Night of Champions in light of the conflict. Both Fightful and The Observer say that WWE has not responded to inquiries about the status of this week's shows. Given how, by the way, like, I love how The Observer and Fightful are just like, well, we reached out to WWE. Yeah, no, they're not talking to you about this. No. Like, if they're going to talk to someone about this, they're going to talk to, like, ESPN.
Yeah,
they're not going to talk to the dirt sheets.
Sorry, Dave. Taylor doesn't have any information about this one. Okay.
Yeah, they're gonna reach out to like the news networks. They're not gonna reach out to Dave Meltzer. They're gonna reach out to like big newsrooms with like cutting edge technology, not some guy buried in paperwork in his office off to the side of his house. Some guy wading through back issues dating back to the 80s to get to his door to go take a pee.
So really the updates I don't think we need to get into too much because they're kind of political. And it might take
that's fine. Look, these people exist.
Read them.
So update. President Trump posted on Truth Social that Iran and Israel agreed to a ceasefire that he claims will end the 12-day war. If the ceasefire occurs and holds, that would make any decisions WWE has to make a lot easier, folks. And we love the WWE, don't we? We don't like that AEW as much, but we love that WWE.
It was weird
They
that
get
Trump mentioned
a lot of
WWE
money.
in the statement, right? That was
Right. After initially confirming Trump's claim, Israel and Iran then accused the other nation of violating the ceasefire. Tuesday morning on the White House lawn, the president told reporters, "This was amazing. You know what we have? We basically have two countries that have been fighting for so long and so hard that they don't know what the fuck they're doing." I watched that this morning and my face hit my palms. I'm like, I can't believe the president just F-bombed in front of the media. Furthermore, their mothers. So many things we can say about their mothers. But we don't do that, folks, because we're a classy nation, greatest nation in the world. 4th of July is coming up, and I'll be damned if these people are going to ruin my barbecue. We love to barbecue, don't we, folks? He's one of the most fun impressions there is to do. Following his remarks, he posted that the ceasefire is in effect. It was in effect, but it wasn't. Then I F-bombed. I said I made my F-bomb stopped their bombs, and now the ceasefire is back in effect. In the 8 hours since he did so, no new attacks have been reported by either Israel or Iran. I think we all know what happened. Tripp got on the horn and was like, "Listen to me, you jobber nations.
We have a show to do on this.
We got a lot of money. Do you know how much begging I had to do to get CM Punk to throw every value he's ever had in the piece of do?" Yes, Triple H is very Italian in my world, apparently. You cut this off right now, or I'm coming over there myself to end it. And they were like, "Oh, all right."
I'm convinced that the AEW fans don't want there to be a ceasefire because they want WWE to make a decision that they can rag on them.
They 100% want people to continue to die.
Yeah.
Based on what I've seen on X, just the vitriol from all of these people, like they're just like, yeah, but like peace. Like, why do we need peace? Like, what's so wrong with war?
It's right. I don't think that they think about that part. I think they just think about, no, I can't badmouth WWE because they're not going into a war zone. So, you know.
Well, I mean, does Netanyahu know that by allowing this ceasefire to go on, he's allowing a show to take place that from a company that used to be owned by a guy who did stuff with a paralegal?
He was a trafficker.
When I woke up that morning, I found out about the strikes through one of those John Alba posting on Twitter about I don't think do you think or WWE's taking their show into a war zone. That was the first thing that I saw about the
Look. We've been through war zones for 40 years. Raw is war. It's right there. We had a game called the War Zone. You don't think I'm ready for this? I've been on Raw for 25, 30 years.
I gave all the talent MREs.
We're bringing Stone Cold Steve Austin as a precaution because, as we all know, he's the one that's able to stop these geopolitical conflicts. Because remember ECW One Night Stand when you had the anti-ECW Crusaders and the ECW Originals, and they were like just yelling at each other from like the balcony into the ring, and then Stone Cold Steve Austin came out there and was like, he was like, "You sons of bitches. Hey, WWE Crusaders, you can either come down here and fight these ECW guys, or I'm coming up there." And they like ran for the stairs. Like they would rather face the entire ECW roster than one Stone Cold Steve Austin.
You just know Triple H is like, he got on the horn and he's like, "Okay, BB, listen to me." I took
by the way, guys, if you're freaking out in the if you're freaking out in the chat right now because we mentioned the name of world leaders, grow up.
We're talking
like these people exist and it's part of this story. So, you know, guys, like Relax. And we're past it. We're not going back to it.
We're now talking about Triple H. He's a world leader. So
yes, we're talking about Triple H
great
ending
would it be, though?
conflict and Stone Cold Steve Austin.
How great would it be if John Alba and Dave Meltzer and Sean Ross Sapp were like reporting from these high intense war areas?
like they're Michael Cole in Desert Storm.
Yeah.
They should invite WWE should invite Sean Ross Sapp and Dave Meltzer to this press conference.
Damaged buildings behind them. This is John Alba reporting from Beirut. As of right now, the WWE is still having the Saudi show. Back to you, Dave.
Like, you imagine, like, hey, Michael, I know you've got some some experience with these Middle Eastern war zones, so maybe get on out there and make it happen.
I will say this though: if you guys keep arguing about politics in the chat, I'm going to start putting people in timeout. So let's move on, okay, guys.
If we can't mention the name of the president of the United States without people all of a sudden be like at each other, I'm talking about both sides here. Shut up, grow up. These people exist. Like we're not giving opinions on it.
There's no way we could cover this story without mentioning that name. And if you can't, be cool about it, then, maybe you shouldn't be.
Oh my gosh. All right, we're done. We are now done with this topic. They're having the show, provided that no one else violates a ceasefire.
Yeah, and hey, y'all are.
And even if they do, Nick Khan will pilot that ship, will pilot that plane around the explosions in order to get to Saudi Arabia for this show. Like they are not giving up that money.
Y'all are lucky we got to this before Kev got here. Because it would never.
What's Kev got to say about this? No, I'm joking.
Nope, not going there.
Hilarious. Yeah, I don't even know how that. Let's get real, gentlemen. There was nothing really to that story. I always knew that the show was always going to go on.
The only time that I was iffy about it was when the missiles were flying over Saudi Arabia to go to Qatar. Like, that was when I was like, oh, they might not, because you might not be able to land a plane.
Right.
If that's the
Saudi
case,
government probably would have made sure
red camels for everyone.
There you have it. Right.
Hey, you know what? I'm
the Night of Champions taking place at the Saudi desert.
Hold on. JJ Gosling just said, didn't WWE go to Iraq for tribute to the troops? They did, but there were like nobody knew when they were going, if that makes sense. So when they would go to tribute for the troops, it was filmed beforehand, and it was never announced where specifically they were going, because sometimes it was Iraq, sometimes it was Afghanistan. And the schedule was never put out there, just in case, and nobody ever would be able to plan an attack or something like that, because God forbid they took out JBL in the Big Show. But the anyway, yeah.
What is the IWC going to do? What's the IWC going to do when SummerSlam goes to Palestine? I mean, what's going to happen there?
Guys, chat, remember, I did tell you anything mentioning now is getting deleted. So
yeah, the political stuff is over, guys. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Don't mention it anymore in the chat.
I'm done too.
All right. So let's stop talking about the Middle East and let's start talking about Mexico, south of the border, down Mexico way.
Yeah, ice. Let's talk about ice. Let's talk about WWE is calling ice to ruin the AEW show. That's a joke.
Right.
That's a joke, guys. We're not talking about ice. Don't worry.
That is a thing that was said, though.
It was.
And
all
Lauren.
right. So this big AEW show in Mexico, the one that everybody was freaking out about, this was the crowd.
Yep.
WrestleTix
Sold
said
out.
in the morning there were only 23 tickets left. However, I will give it to WrestleTix. Didn't they
They
like fully come out and they were like, hey, you know, we reported it wrong. It was like they sold out like what was available, not the whole arena.
Right. Yeah. They said they had no way to know how many tickets were available because it was general admission. So they they did their best. But they did own it. I will always give credit to people who own it, honestly. So I'm not going to get on too hard about it. The picture's funny, though, considering that they've been, acting like it was a huge success. And I believe at one point they said...
Well, but you know what? Ratings-wise, this show was a success. It did... I mean, I can't believe we're saying this is the success now, but it broke 700,000 people. It won them the week, right?
It did. Certainly did.
Yeah. So
it did okay.
I can't believe that.
And the crowd was hot
now
during the show.
It used to be that we were like... whether they hit 1 million or not was the measure. And now it's like, oh, they broke 700,000. Like how quickly that fell.
Yeah. And wait till next week or this week.
Okay. Hangman cut a promo there, and we have the translation from Hangman's promo. For those that didn't understand, this is what Hangman said in his promo. Hi, my name's Hangman. And I want to apologize for my Spanish because it ain't the best. But it's a little bit... I'm trying to do a cowboy voice. I don't know if that's actually what he sounds like. Does he do a cowboy voice or does he just sound like a wuss?
He just sounds like a wuss.
Okay.
A southern wuss.
A southern wuss.
But it's a little... it's not the best, but it's a little better than much gringos. So I will try. When I was young, my family had a tobacco farm. Oh, I don't like where this is going. And every summer, 6 men would come from Rules Nayarit to work, says their names. Every year I worked with them, and they taught me about Mexico. They were hard workers, honest, and cared for their families. I'm sorry. Is he talking about how he loves Mexico because he worked with a couple of migrant workers who worked on his parents' tobacco farm?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
My parents paid them practically nothing.
One of
my best
them
friend's Mexican.
One of them would tell him folk tales and sing songs to him, and bluebirds would sit on his shoulder.
They taught me that we were all better when we worked together. This is why I want to say thank you. Thank you for having us in your house tonight. Thanks for this collaboration between AEW and CMLL, because when we work together, we could change the world. Yeah, this show really changed the world.
It solved world hunger just last week.
Yeah. Yep. Now I will talk about our champion, Jon Moxley. I'm sorry to say that I don't have a match tonight, and I'm not allowed to be in the arena during his match. But nobody said anything about after the match, so after all that, I will beat his ass. Until then, thank you to everyone here in Arena Mexico, and I'll see you soon. So 80% of that promo was about the migrant workers on his family's farm.
Yeah.
And
How about that?
20% was Jon Moxley.
Yeah, he did a promo talking basically saying, hey, I love Mexicans. I worked with Mexicans on
how about
they worked for
how
me,
about that?
but
How about that guacamole, folks? Am I right?
Yeah. They were hard workers. You should have seen them like this is the most
I mean, yes, I was the boss's son and approached these men and started talking to them while they were trying to work, and they had no choice but to talk to me or get sent back to Mexico, which, believe it or not, was a place they really didn't want to go back to, even though they taught me all about Mexico.
It sounds so much like I said, it's Song of the South or any of those movies where the kid gets involved with a worker, and it's like, come on. It's so ridiculous that he would do this and cut this as a baby face promo. And people were just like
pandering
hey!
To the CMLL crowd. That's all.
Wait, did the Mexican crowd like eat it up? Did they like it? I mean, they probably liked that he was speaking Spanish.
Yeah, just like,
they did.
Yeah.
Return of Robodis.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it wasn't me this time.
It wasn't you this time, Awful. I'm impressed. Good job.
Ghost of the Machine has gone.
By the way, Kevin said he's en route, so don't worry, he will be here. And all you need to thank God that he missed the first part of this show. So yeah, Hangman cut a promo, but then the biggest moment of the night. Mercedes Moné has captured the CMLL Women's Championship. She's now 6 belts Moné. Remember when you guys were saying, well, the logical conclusion to this is that Toni Storm causes a disqualification? And I said,
yes.
And I said, unless she decides that she wants that belt. And apparently she decided that she wants that belt.
Can either of you guys explain to me the logic behind, like the business logic behind her winning the championship?
No.
I can't feel it either. I can't sense it.
Here's the thing. So now, because I mean, let's face it, she's taking that belt at All In. So when she has 7 belts, like she's at the point now where she can lose a couple matches and still have more than 5 belts.
Hey, Marv, why don't you look at the one that I have, Monet Challenge? Why don't you look at that one real quick? Because it might be more.
So Viva Van posted this with her 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 belts. I dare you to put all of them on the line. And by dare you, I mean, I just told Tony that I want you to put them all on the line and I want to win them so I can be 11 belts, Monet.
Yep.
Like, why? Why do you need... Like, do you remember, like, when Kurt Angle came into TNA and had creative control over literally everything and everyone? And the first thing he did was book himself to win every single belt, including the tag belts by himself.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
This is that dialed up to 1,000,000.
It'll be 13 belts, Monet. 13.
By the way, who the hell is this lady and what are her belts?
She's
it's Viva Van, don't you know?
Yeah. She's
no.
Since all the Japanese women went to either WWE or AEW, she's the one that wins everything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So she's kind of she's like a younger Mina. I don't know if she's younger. I'm gonna say that, and somebody's gonna be like, she's 42, and I'm gonna be like, I just know that she likes to show pictures of herself covering her nipples, but showing the rest of her boobies. So.
Oh. Well, I think for the sake of the show, I'm going to have to do some research on this young lady. But please don't put the belts up against Mercedes Moné. Please, please, please don't do it. Oh my gosh. But you know what? The one thing that was really nice to see, guys, is that, everyone likes to say AEW has no fans that are kids. But apparently when they go to Mexico, they do, because we got a heartwarming shot of Tony Khan clearly hugging a small child and just being so happy about it. Right? Either that or he thought he was some kind of mythical creature that he had to chase down.
This is the funniest picture I've ever seen.
It is. This picture is just amazing. This is like the picture that he shows all his friends back home to prove that he has a pet Ewok.
He made this black and white and he framed it.
This is his Tinder profile picture.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
They went out after the show, had some drinks. Tony's like, wear the costume. You have to wear the costume. Keep wearing the costume.
You know what? Either one of two things happened. Either this was the extent of their interaction for the night, or it's exactly what you just said.
Tony
all night with him.
Yeah, like Tony followed him around all night. Maybe he thought he was actually a little kid and he was excited that there's a child fan. And then when he finally took the mask off in the back and he saw that it was probably like a 40-year-old dude, he was like, whoa!
Okay, this isn't $50, but we have to.
Okay, John Williams, that was a good one for $199. Tony invited him on the boat.
Oh, shit.
I'm Chris Hansen. Why don't you take a seat, Tony?
I swear he said he was the CMLL midget champion. He was overaged.
So in an exchange that was totally not scripted, it was a good chance to attend this professional wrestling event. That is high praise. Thank you for coming to AEW Dynamite Grand Slam Mexico tonight! !
It was a good choice to get my tickets comped by Tony Khan. So in exchange,
that was like really bad early AI exchange right there. It was a good choice to attend this professional wrestling event. I very much enjoy professional wrestling events on my television set. Well, thank you very much for your interest in our professional wrestling.
Please come back and see us again.
Ding.
At AEW Dynamite, hashtag.
Control C, Control V.
What were we saying, Dis?
Ding. Look down at the lower part of the screen.
Oh my goodness.
Yep.
You're right. I think well, guys, it's about that time. Kevin's back.
Arrow.
How you feeling, buddy?
I'm all right. I was feeling okay until you did that awful Chris Hansen. I
did the South Park version. I'm Chris Hansen.
It was like, are you being Rob Feinstein or are you being Chris Hansen? What's happening right now?
You know what? One of the only Chris Hansen clips I've ever watched involved Rob Feinstein. So it might have actually been Rob Feinstein stuck in my memory.
OMG. OMG.
Oh my goodness. Kev, how are you feeling? Are you back to 100%?
Yeah, for the most part, it's fine. I'm okay. I'll survive. I'm good.
Your lungs tried to keep you down, and you were like, I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think that.
That's not happening.
I don't.
You kicked out.
That's right. Yeah, I kicked out. I'm not putting this over. I don't have time for that. That don't work for me, brother.
I'm 6
I got time
antibodies.
to walk with pneumonia.
I'm 6 antibodies, Apollo. Oh my goodness. All right. So, are we done with all of the Mexico stuff there?
Yeah,
Dis?
that's it.
Oh, all right. Well, that was a
Kev, we wanted your opinion on no.
no. Not going back to that. You missed the political discussion explosion that happened earlier. Yeah,
was it about the F-bomb?
No, yeah, we mentioned it, but it was for the best that you weren't here. That's all I'll say.
We found out that this is a raging liberal.
What?
Juan Alarcon. All right, Juan Alarcon for $10 says WWE should not go to Saudi Arabia at this time for obvious reasons, but it's really not their choice this time. If the State Department doesn't want you to go over there, you're not going. Well, I guess that is true. The decision could be taken away from them, but like I said,
Can I dispel this, please?
Sure.
Okay. So, I mentioned on my Twitters yesterday that although the sentiment is perfectly reasonable, when it comes to punditry, a little bit of knowledge of geopolitics and world history should come into play here. Without even mentioning the fact that Qatar would actually wipe Iran off the map. Yeah. Saudi Arabia and Iran are long-standing geopolitical foes. They do not get along. If Iran did choose to so much as even fart in Saudi Arabia's direction, they would be wiped off of the face of the earth.
I see.
Along with that, though, would come the consequence of immediate global economic chaos.
Right.
We're talking super duper recessions and depressions.
Right.
Which is why nothing is going to happen. It's just a bunch of chest pounding and puffery from people who need to act like they sound what they're talking about, but do not have a clue.
And again,
Cultaholic said the same thing.
Again, I will say Triple H had nothing to do with this decision.
Yes. And why are we pretending that the publicly traded company that has more bosses than it has employees is under mega scrutiny, and it's one man with a gravelly voice and a pacemaker going, "You're gonna go, and you're gonna go job in the sand," like he's Lindsey Graham. Stop it.
Because nobody understands. Nobody understands that he's not Vince. That he doesn't have Vince powers.
Yeah,
nobody gets it. Regina Sharp for $10 says the non-booing of heels is also probably because of the conversation or the conversion to more of a TV format than a wrestling show. The fans know when a heel shows up, hijinks will ensue. Ensue, I say. We were talking about apparently the rumors that they're reworking Seth's theme song. so that he won't get the babyface pop and the fun sing along anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny that she mentioned that too, because I was thinking, like, Raw, the matches are great, right? The matches are great, but the show is boring, and it's because it's missing that that element of chaos and danger that you used to get from these shows. Like it's very formulaic. It's they need to do something to inject some energy, and I don't mean hot shot everything where there's 4 billion title changes, but there needs to be excitement. Like you knew back in the day when Raw started, Austin or Vince was going to open up the show. Something's going to happen by the time you hit the 15-minute mark. You were going to get probably the Outlaws or some kind of a tag match, then a hardcore match, then some weird story beat, some other nonsense. Then it was time for the Rock or Triple H promo. Then it was time for and then by the time you got to the end, you were kind of exhausted. And then it was 11 o'clock and the main event was still going on. The show ends at like 10:30 half the time, and you're like, all right. And that's if you stayed awake the entire time. And it wasn't because anything was bad. It wasn't because the show was bad. It's just they need to get over the fact that people have the ability to watch it when they want to watch it, and that streaming has kind of changed viewing habits, and start turning it back into must-see TV. Like I should feel angst if I have to go to the bathroom. And it's just kind of annoying that it's a go with the flow kind of thing.
We're older now, so the excitement levels are not going to be there. And I completely agree with what you're saying. I think what happens is, like, take for example, John Cena turn. Like they used that turn, and it gave them some cachet for a few weeks. Then they used R-Truth. They think that these moments for them to carry them forward. I think paying attention to as much as they used to, especially like it's like they're in a safe period where they're not really doing anything outlandish, like major turn, major face turn. We're good for 2 months.
Yeah. Going viral is more important than actually
right.
More important than driving the show. Which, and I'm not one of these people who's poo-pooing on heel John Cena. I love heel John Cena.
I love it too. It's not bad at all.
The version of the pipe bomb promo, I thought it was bloody genius. It's just both shows need, especially at 3 hours a pop. Both shows need a little more energy.
Well, Raw's going back, or SmackDown's going back to 2. Thank the Lord.
So. Oh, thank God. Thank God. That's a rough watch.
Mike Middleton for $279. Wait, lost content or lost content? Okay, who's reading? Me or you?
I'm sorry, I was muted and I thought I was reading this, and I was like, why is everyone talking over me? Mike Middleton for $279 says, wait, lost content or lost content? # not purgatory. We're not having this conversation again.
What?
But it was you missed last week when we had an entire full-blown argument about Lost.
Whenever I'm right about something, we're not allowed to talk about it, apparently.
You were not right. It was # was purgatory, so stop it.
You didn't even watch it. What do you know?
Because I just know things. It's what I do.
If you watched 15 minutes of the first episode, you knew how the show was going to end when it was only supposed to be a season.
Oh, Kev, don't make me. Don't get me.
And then they decided to drag it out nonsensically and gave you a doo-doo ending. That show was ass. Stop pretending like it was good.
Thank you.
How dare you?
The worst thing that could ever happen.
Block him.
The worst thing that could ever happen to J.J. Abrams is renewals and sequels being greenlit, because he has nothing to do with that show after the first season.
J.J. Abrams has not anything to do with that show.
Because J.J. Abrams came in, started a bunch of mysteries that had no resolution, and then effed off. It's what he does.
And then the
number one disc. Get closer to your mic.
Okay, I can't. I told you that.
Sure. You sound like you're in the middle of the living room, like yelling.
I can barely talk.
He's trying to figure out where there's a polar bear on the island.
I'm trying. Getting me all worked up.
The only redeeming factor on that show was that Delenn from Babylon 5 was on it.
I thought we were moving on. What happened?
Good for you. We are moving on. To John Williams for $4.99 goes, "Hey, Orange Freak, when's the next episode of the Mercedes Monet headlines? My creative control says you have to work on it and praise me." Well, you had a good joke earlier, John Williams. Good job. John Williams for $4.99 goes,
1 for 2.
"We're going there to add more fortune to me money bins." So wait, hold on. If Triple H is Scrooge McDuck, then does that make Tony Khan well?
Because I'm Flint Hardcore, I'm gold, and I always will be.
No,
It
Eric
does.
Card gone gold and will forever be.
That's
Tony
We got
whatever his
another.
name was.
We got another 50, Marv.
My goodness, guys, hold on.
We got one.
Who added it?
I did. Regina Sharp for $50 says, "Marvin, have you considered adding a mystery box on the show? Everyone knows that whatever comes out of the box is over." See, that's a great super chat, Regina Sharp. One, because it's $50, but two, because you got a J.J. Abrams reference and a Jim Cornette reference and brought it back full circle to wrestling. I'm very much impressed by that one. You know what? You're gonna get the super chat thanks clip once again, my friend.
Deluxe.
Is my mic better? Am I better?
You sound better.
Like 200. So
Great.
John Williams for $4.99 says, "Who would win? A man who has been in the industry for decades or a man who got bullied into being Temu Andrew Tate?" I don't know what he's referencing here.
Cornette and Ricochet.
Oh, Cornette and Ricochet.
Oh.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah.
If a physical, well, let's be real. Jim Cornette, you got to think he fights dirty. He goes for the groin. He goes for the eyes. He goes for the throat.
He's not a small man.
Yeah, no, he's also not a small man. And the man, like, I don't. Do you think Twitter Ricky has ever actually been in a fight? Maybe when he was younger.
No.
But Jim Cornette used to fight
No.
entire audiences
with that
every
haircut.
single night.
No, what was it? Awful. Weren't you the one who said that Ricochet looked like every black friend in the white group when he was younger? Like when they saw.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that was you, right? 'Cause he
Duster
had that
pants
long
and the
hair.
skateboard. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
Uh-huh.
Kevin too.
Chains and Kevin, I'm sure. We've seen them.
I had pride.
The Jinko's on.
Stay in pride.
Oh my goodness. 1KQ for $5 New Zealand. Why did they put Shelton and Bobby in the tag division? Because he doesn't know what else to do with them. Also, been listening to the old vids on Spotify while gaming this week. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much, 1KQ. Glad you're enjoying the audio version.
Yep. Go to Spotify, anywhere you get your podcasts, and you can listen
Yep.
to us now. And give us.
We're part of the Wrestling Soup. Yeah, we're part of the Wrestling Soup Network.
number 26 in Japan. By the way.
Bam!
Nice.
Domo.
Konnichiwa and domo arigato to all of our fans in the land of the rising sun.
Nice.
John Williams
You are
for
Ichiban.
$1.99 says Dave Meltzer says barbecue's great as long as there's no rappers. Christopher Miller for $5 says that should be the question. How many zeros on that CM Punk Saudi check? I heard a rumor, and that rumor came from Dis, I think, that Punk was going to donate his Saudi check, but I can't imagine that's happening.
To his wife.
Yeah. Yeah, really. To the
Give it
dog.
to Larry. Yeah. Giving it to Larry. John Williams for $4.99 says Triple H not putting a ballistic missile over. Now he's going to knock it back into the sky with a sledgehammer.
That bitch.
I'm telling you, he's just going to Stone. Like, Kev, do you remember when Stone Cold Steve Austin resolved the conflict between the ECW Crusaders, or the ECW Originals and the WWE anti-ECW Crusaders by threatening them that he was going to come up in the balcony, and they decided they'd rather fight the entire ECW roster than one Stone Cold Steve Austin?
Yes.
I'm telling you, man, we are overlooking the obvious response to all conflict. Send Stone Cold Steve Austin into any active war zone. Uncultured Barbarian for $5 made the error of watching tonight Blazed. I'm laughing so hard my sides hurt. Also, could NXT redeem Wardlow and MJF? Glom Gold times 3. I think you mean that because it's the third time we're playing the clip tonight. But
Glom Gold, Glom Gold, Glom Gold, Glom Gold.
And then let's see. We read. Thank you, Uncultured Barbarian. We read what?
I was going to answer his question.
What? Oh,
could
go ahead.
NXT redeem Wardlow and MJF? Wardlow, yes.
I forgot to
MJF, I don't know about MJF anymore. If it was 2 years ago, I'd say yes. But
ship has sailed.
I don't know at this point. Yeah, Wardlow though, he hasn't been on TV enough to be ruined, so they could absolutely get something out of him.
Well, he's going to be great.
He's going to be a gladiator.
Yeah, exactly. As a gladiator,
I'm going to be glad to
see for him.
When is that starting, by the way?
They're filming it right now. Kev, you missed it last week. We were talking about the new American Gladiators. I know you're an American Gladiators fan. So
yeah, I was popping for the fact that 90% of the Gladiators are fired WWE employees, AEW employees, and NWA employees. So everybody's going to be using the Gladiators to audition for NXT.
Now they get to beat up regular people.
We've already decided. We've already decided that on the show every week we're going to start reviewing that week's episode of American Gladiators because I can't wait for it. I cannot wait.
We're going to be reviewing American Gladiators before we review a single episode of TNA or NXT.
Probably. JJ Gosling, we read this one already. Christopher Miller for $5 says instead of a plane, they can go by boat. Oh wait, no, Pirate Hogan would stop that. Who's that on the horizon? It's Hulk Hogan and a bunch of Somali guys.
Would it be?
Now I just want to see Captain
Probably
Phillips.
not.
Now I just want to see Captain Phillips with Hulk Hogan instead of Tom Hanks.
You know what? Maybe it would be though, because he'd be like, look at all my friends, my good, close, personal friends, brother.
Yeah.
I'm the captain now. That don't work for me, brother.
They all follow the dress code, brother.
Him and Bischoff buy soft ground wrestling and just make them all pirate.
Winged Moonlight for $2 says, good to see you all. Hope all are well. Love you guys. Love you too, Winged Moonlight. Always good to see you. John Williams from 499 says, Hangman's promo is Timu Cody announcing that he ended racism. It's nowhere near that obnoxious, but it is pretty obnoxious. I love Mexico because my family had migrant workers on their tobacco farm. Regina Sharp for $5 says that Hangman promo has me imagining Tony Khan and Hangman dancing and singing the song Change the World from Captain EO. Deep cuts.
Awful. That's terrible.
Craig Churchill for $2 Canadian says, I love Home Depot parking lots. I mean Mexico. That could have been what he was talking about. John Williams for $199 says Monet copying the Triple H belt meme. Regina Sharp for $5 says Mercedes beat my high school shop teacher for a belt in Mexico. Uncultured Barbarian for $2 says Monet has 6 belts and elevates none of them. Probably not wrong, right?
I was going to say, well, does anybody know what any of these belts are?
No. All right, so we're going to take a
championship and LL championship. That's all I got.
We are going to take a break there from the Super Chats. We will stop for $50 or more, but we are going to move on to our next bit of story. And we got a Vince story, an interesting Vince story. Vince McMahon recently made a move to purchase controlling interest in Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. And if that is not the most Vince McMahon thing you've ever heard in your life, David Feldman, BKFC's founder, BKFC, in president, confirmed 11 herbs and spices of combat.
That's right.
Founder and president confirmed that a meeting occurred and that McMahon is resolute about a return to promoting. He's a great guy. His whole team is great, but the timing wasn't right for us. He's Vince McMahon. If I were him, I'd want creative control too. He was awesome, very complimentary, and he was very serious to do business. Yeah. I don't negotiate.
Hey, pal, check your brakes before you go too fast, huh?
Is it a question if Vince would want creative control of bare knuckle fighting championship? Like, what
Just gonna finance it?
negotiations would he have with them that aren't including him being in charge of creative? And
You know
also,
what I want to do? I want to sit back and relax.
I'm just going to allow them to do the work for me. The most Vince McMahon thing of all time, right?
Yeah.
what
I'm
kind
bored.
of
Delegate.
I'm gonna buy something stupid.
what-
All right.
Yeah.
We need orangutans. We need bare knuckle orangutans.
Give me that tire wrestling.
This is the Kevin hit the nail on the head. This is the equivalent of when I was bored and had just gotten paid and bought a hot dog toaster. But on a billionaire level.
Yeah, bare naked.
I have used it once and it made terrible hot dogs.
Bare knuckle fighting championship is the George Foreman grill of combat sport.
Well, they were originally going to call it the Hulk Hogan fighting championship, but he didn't answer the call.
What other animals have knuckles? We had sharks. A bunch of sharks.
Shark fighting championship.
Let's do that gorilla thing that everyone was talking about.
Yeah.
100 men.
Right.
We
100 gorillas versus one man.
the man is Brock Lesnar and he wins.
What about fat chicks?
I guarantee. I think he's going to introduce tag teams on this thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say, okay, do you think he makes it a work? Because they're talking about creative control and shit. Like,
Well, I mean, I think that the fight, I think it would be like UFC. The fights were real, but a lot of the build up to it is accentuated in a way that's not maybe as legitimate.
I'd give it 2 months before Vince was just like, screw it, it's awful. I'm picking who wins from now on. Vince won't stand for that crap. Vince likes being in control.
By the way, I love my George Foreman grill. Just saying. I don't love the hot dog toaster. I love the George Foreman grill. It seals in the flavor. Without
Is your
the fat.
George Foreman grill, is it old or is it new?
No, it's new. I got it last year. Yeah, I got it last year, but I'm about to get an actual grill. I'm about to get an actual grill, so I won't need the George Foreman as much anymore.
Yeah, that's the thing about
Got a
the George
stove?
Foreman grill. Yeah, thank you. You know what? George Foreman grill was
damn.
good when I was like 16 years old, and all I ate was chicken breasts, and I could just throw them on there and then eat them when they came off. Because I was on the
Oh, you
carb diet.
training to fight Apollo Creed?
No, back then it was that we were doing crazy things. It was the 90s. We all liked Kid Rock.
So your
We
idea
were
of like going, your idea of
Yeah.
going postal was eating chicken breast?
I was carb dieting. That's what everyone was doing back then. We were all carb dieting, cutting those carbs. Remember, we thought we could eat all the chicken and steak we wanted as long as we didn't eat bread, and then we'd be in perfect shape.
To be fair, people still think that it's called the carnivore diet.
True.
It was called the Atkins diet until Dr. Atkins died of a massive heart attack. But then
His head. Fell in his head.
I know I'm kidding. I'm kidding, but also spreading misinformation.
You know, the guy who invented the Segway fell off a cliff on a Segway. I heard that one too. I don't know if that's true, but
That'd be pretty. That would be pretty ironic.
You know what I did
Last
hear? That
part.
the guy who started Match.com, his wife left him for someone she met on Match.com.
How
That is
awesome
the
is
old-
that?
I hope that one's true.
and then he started Ashley Madison.
There's a documentary about Ashley Madison. There's a documentary about Ashley Madison. I remember like Opie and Anthony used to do commercials for it all the time. Like, and I just remember being like, "This is really trashy."
Yeah, the documentary about Ashley Madison was like, these two Christian YouTubers were broken up by Ashley. That's the entire documentary.
Oh, jeez. So Cultaholic Wrestling with a totally real story. Cultaholic Wrestling reporting on a Wrestling Observer newsletter situation. So right away, just, like, this is totally legit, guys. WWE reportedly asked for a Happy Gilmore 2 trailer that doesn't feature MJF to promote on Raw. I seriously doubt they care. Maybe they're that petty, but I don't know.
It could be. I can see TK in that
news.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe.
That's something that'll always happen.
Yeah.
Do you know what the ultimate a wrestler from another company appearing on somebody else's TV in another medium was when TNA just desperately wanted Jericho, and then they played the Fozzy video.
Yeah.
Hey, look! It's Chris Jericho!
Christian, you're going to get your buddy here. And as a show of respect, we're going to give you theme music that sounds just like your buddy's music, complete with his Titantron. You're going to do the arm gimmick. And then in 2 weeks, we're going to play his music video. How about that?
How's your buddy doing? Chris Jericho, the guy who just broke my IC title reign record. That was when it started. Jericho won the most IC titles of all time, and then all of a sudden you just know a guitar with his face materialized in the TNA locker room.
There was back then, I remember there was a story online a week before saying TNA has a major announcement involving Chris Jericho, and you were like, oh wow, because Chris Jericho wasn't in WWE, he hadn't been for a while, you thought maybe he could, and then the TV comes and they're just like, we're gonna play Chris Jericho's video next week. It's like, really? You can't even do it? You built up that we're gonna play a Fozzy video?
Yeah, at the end of the day, wasn't YouTube already a thing at that point, or am I going too far back? Because I was just like, what's the point of being like, I got to tune into Impact next week to see the Chris Jericho music video that I could probably just watch online?
YouTube was only good for watching Slater beat up Zach and getting your account killed for putting Family Guy clips up.
Right, and cat videos.
That's
what we did on YouTube.
I love what Mole said about the one where he was like. He was like, yeah, so if they did request this, I have no idea if they did or not, but it wouldn't really be that difficult to do.
Because he's in it for 5 minutes, from what I understand.
What? He was only in the Von Erich movie for a minute. So,
right.
He's moving up in the world.
No, one thing I was wondering about this, though, is this all kind of started happening. The whole thing with WWE counter-programming AEW started really happening when they bought AAA. And I'm wondering if it's more about AEW's relationship with CMLL than it is about anything between AEW and WWE. Since they're using them on the show and CMLL is a bigger company than AAA, I could see WWE not wanting to promote anything that might get people seeing CMLL talent. But the idea that they would do this at all is this in particular at all is kind of crazy.
Yeah, I think it's the most WWE thing out there. I can see Vince like, nope, I'll show your stupid video, but you get rid of that guy.
Yeah, it's possible. It's definitely possible. Speaking of dumb decisions, though, BodySlam.net has confirmed that a set of new tag team belts are on their way to AEW soon, which is exactly what they need, new belts.
What?
One of which is the Women's World Championship. The other which is a father and son intergenerational championship.
What the hell does that even mean?
It means that Ricky Morton and his son can hold belts together.
It's Christian and Nick Wayne are going to
Christian and literally everyone else on the roster.
Yeah, it's I was actually told this a couple days before it broke, and I was excited because I was gonna come in here and predict it and look real smart, but then someone broke it and I was like, oh damn it, so I couldn't do that anymore. But
if you had said that, if you had told me that before it was broken, I would have been like, that is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. You're 100% wrong.
I know. I promised someone I wouldn't tell, but it
how many father and son duos are there?
Okay,
exactly.
Well here on Collision, Christian and Nick Wayne started talking about being a tag team. And then the very next segment, Billy Gunn started arguing with Anthony Bowens. So they're probably going to put Billy Gunn with one of his kids, I would imagine. And then
All right, so you have one actual father and son combination,
Right,
and then the other one is a Christian joke.
Right, and then there's also, I heard a rumor that they're really, 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 really trying to get Kevin to put on some tights and wrestle it all in. So
Kevin Von Erich,
yes. So I don't know, we'll see about that.
Well, I think you would definitely get Ricky Morton and his son, because isn't like that the thing now? He's like tagging with his son on the Indies.
Yeah, Kerry Morton. Yeah.
Who else could you get?
Is Richie Steamboat better, or is his neck still jacked up?
I think he's a chiropractor now.
He retired, right?
Yeah.
Didn't Bill DeMott like cripple him?
Yeah. There you go. There's the
Tony,
answer. But yeah.
You know what? Tyler Golicinski just made a good point in the chat. Half of Mexican wrestling is father and son wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
So that does make sense.
True. That's true.
Yeah, Taz and Hook was my first thought, but I'm like, if Taz didn't get back in the ring for one night stand, he's not doing it for this.
Amanda,
This whole idea is dumb.
It is dumb. It's really stupid.
Okay. You ready for stupid? You ready for stupid? Pay attention to that last line. These were made a year ago. They've been holding on to these titles for a year now.
What are they in Moxley's briefcase?
I don't know. But
also, women's tag belts, you don't need those. The biggest mistake WWE made was women's tag division.
Mercedes going to win both of them somehow, I'm assuming.
Yep.
Ugh.
Should you do the old Kurt Angle?
What? Yes. It could be AJ Justice and Big Justice.
No.
Nope. That was
$1
1KQ for $2 New Zealand, bringing that one up. But yeah, no,
it's a great idea just for them, but no, in reality,
you do like an indie show, like a one-night indie show where it's all tag matches with legends and their sons or something like that. That's a gimmick that draws people in. To have a continuous 52-week-a-year division in your company that focuses exclusively on that, that's dumb.
You know what's going on? The belt maker is coming up with these ideas to keep rich.
Yep.
He's just like, hey, dude, how about a father-son intergenerational championship? I got that ready. The mold is ready. So anytime, bro.
We'll make it completely out of diamonds.
Well, okay, if this was a joke, if it was Christian bringing it in to like the FTW title should have been when it came to AEW, where it's just like we're holding these titles. It's not a real title. They're never really defended. It's just part of Christian's gimmick. And if they had done it a year ago when people actually cared about Christian's gimmick, maybe, because the idea would be we have the father-son titles, but no one can challenge for them because there are no other fathers and sons. That's a fun gimmick to do, okay? But doing it now at the end of that thing and trying to actually put father-son tag teams together and create a division around it is ridiculous.
So your answer was brilliant and what any normal human being would do. But we're talking about AEW, so we take the most stupid, fucktarded approach to not entertaining anybody and throw it on TV.
Exactly.
I got a great idea, Tony. How about a thumb wrestling championship with diamonds and rubies?
How many crowns does it have?
We've got to get the LJNs that you put on the thumb, and then they wrestle.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Tony, hear me out.
Gold.
Hear me out. The cow championship. You have cows fight each other, and they need belts.
They're really big.
Big belts.
Apartment wrestling champion. Okay? You can do it, Tony.
I knew an apartment wrestling champion.
Oh, God.
Oh, no. Did you win, Kev? No.
Oh no, I never did that. Okay.
And she grew up to be Asuka.
Yeah.
That was a Japan joke for all our Japanese listeners. Hey, I'm here.
Ichiban, baby.
All right.
There's nothing like the Japanese people.
Moving on, WrestleOps says SmackDown will return to 2 hours as of July 4th. It is a 4th of July miracle, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
Thank you. As I love to say, to quote the Little Giants, thank you, football god. Because man, oh man, are these 3-hour shows the worst.
So bad. I'm so hard, and I just can't.
I got a question. I can't believe they don't do this anymore. Why are they not doing like Saturday morning programming, maybe on a network television show?
I was just
What's
reading
happened
about this not too long ago with somebody. Because the honestly, it's the internet. I think the internet has just kind of ruined everything. They know that these kids are going to go grab everything they need to grab off of YouTube and off of Instagram. So it's they do the recaps. It's right there. That's what the bump is allegedly supposed to be for too. But no, like, these 3-hour shows are brutal. I wish they would just go back to the old school recap show that had matches.
Live Wire.
Yeah, exactly. Listen, I love Metal, Jacked, Velocity, Shotgun, WWE New York. Yeah. And it's like, because the guys who don't get to wrestle get matches, get over, and then you got a recap of something.
I've seen this a lot this week, and I will say main event does exist, and no one watches it. Okay, so a lot of people say they want
there's no WWE Network though, and that's Peacock's fault.
Right.
I miss the WWE.
I mean, are Saturday morning cartoons still being played? Because if they are,
woman destroyed Saturday morning cartoons over a decade ago.
Man,
who did that?
Angry moms with nothing better to do. Or why Saturday morning cartoons don't exist.
Yeah,
anymore.
they made everything be educational, and it
now nothing is educational. Forever Runner for $4.99 says, as a Mexican, I declare dis an honorary Mexican. Bonuses include 10% speed and agility boosts in certain situations.
Ah, crap. Does that wait? Am I gonna have people coming after me now? Am I okay where I am? Do I have to move? Is that what they're saying?
I'm already making the call. That black bear for $5 says you survived somehow, Apollo. Seems I have to go higher. So nice
higher
try,
dosage?
bear. Liquid Fox for $5 Canadian says the real Fantastic Four has reunited. Welcome back, Kevin. I too think heel Cena is fantastic, especially since the IWC doesn't see the brilliance. Yeah. Wait, who's that? Does that make Dis the Invisible Woman?
No.
Yes.
Kev's the Thing.
And Awful's Johnny Flame.
Yeah. All right.
I'll be a woman. I don't mind. I'm comfortable with
Whatever.
masculinity. Okay.
Why can't I be Galactus?
All be booty bitches and bacon with big boobies for $5 says, don't worry, if those sickos try something funny, I will use the Chris Benoit ghost to fight back. Oh my goodness. Look at
coming in hot.
Yeah, wow. With that avatar. Andre Adams for $4.99 says, I just realized that Will Ospreay's whole style is GYMKATA.
Gymkata.
Gymkata. Oh, okay. It's not like hip hop keto. Because that was better.
What?
That was way better.
Uncultured Barbarian for $5 says, damn it, now I want to see an anime with Hulk Hogan as a pirate captain. It would be an anime too. Imagine him as just put him on One Piece. Make a Blackbeard on One Piece. He's big enough. Great.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out a One Piece joke. I couldn't get there. Sorry.
Craig Churchill for $5 Canadian says, what words will he ban in bare knuckle fighting? You will all stop saying punch. From now on, you say bludgeon or wallop. You're fisticuff entertainers. You're not fighters.
You're gonna sock him good, you are.
Sock him
in the Donnybrook match number 3.
Right to the medical
mush. You're gonna sock him in the mush.
Regina
you are
Shaw
pugilist.
Regina Sharp for 5 says, I wore an onion on my belt, as was the fashion at the time. Dis, probably. All right, moving on. Mercedes Monet said something dumb.
What?
I have goosebumps thinking about it.
I just have like all these goosebumps, like thinking about it.
R.L. Stein is so prolific.
Has changed my
Wrestling has saved my life. Like, I am saved. I have been led to the promised land through wrestling, and that promised land is a whole big pile of money that I can like slide down.
Did you see the loading symbol show up on her head before she said that?
I saw that as like I saw that as process human emotion.
That's what is going to be the beach ball of doom. There's no memory left here.
Has brought me so many different opportunities and let me live out my dreams.
My
And
dreams.
the fact that I am the first woman to wrestle in all of the major.
Did this freeze?
I don't know why.
We hope. We can only hope.
Because there's only
This
so much
did
douche the internet can take.
Did that freeze or did she freeze? Like, did she get like a? Did she like skits out?
Women
There it goes. No, it's
to
freezing.
wrestle
There it goes.
in
Why is it freezing?
I don't know.
StreamYard. Stupid.
I don't know. All right. So anyway, she says she wrestled in every major wrestling arena in the world and counted Wembley as one of them. Wembley has had exactly 3 wrestling shows ever. Yeah, it's right up there with the Philly Spectrum. Like, it's the ECW arena.
Allegiant next year, Allegiant Stadium would have held more wrestling events than Wembley. Stadium.
It's a regular old Madison Square Garden just across the pond with all 3 of its wrestling events. And there was that arena where they did Collision in Korea, like one of the greatest wrestling arenas of all time. All right, we need to get this woman out of our heads. There's only one way to do that.
For instance,
is this not working
Are
now?
they all messed up, dude? What's going on?
Oh, come on.
Lord. For $500 a month, you
Yeah.
can also not play your videos on StreamYard.
Dis, can you take them down and re-upload them?
Yeah, I'll get it going here. So it might be a few minutes, but it will.
Hold on, let me see if the other one will work. I doubt it will, but here he comes.
For a while. I've been following the growth of this brand. For those not familiar, how big is AEW?
All right, well, this one seems like it's working for now. So, Dis, if you could just do the other 2.
Gotcha.
So this is
actually, before we do this, because this leads into Dave. So why don't we do the Ric Flair stuff? I have the links in the chat for the Ric Flair stuff.
Oh, okay, yes, this Ric Flair thing is wild.
The second one is the one that came out today, and the first one is one that I found on my own. So
Hold on, let me.
I'd like to make a reservation for 1 with drinks for 5.
Oh, hold on, let me just.
I need a balloon and a string.
All right, so. Hold on.
That's right, Chef
Sure.
Eddie.
List tab instead, and. All right, so. The thread title is anyone else pick Ric Flair up off the sidewalk today? Just me? All right. This is from the Tampa subreddit. He must frequent the Pearl. Guy's kneecaps were bleeding from his fall, very intoxicated. This guy says, my sister's husband works at the Pearl. Says Ric Flair is a frequent customer there. Apparently has a place across the street from the Pearl, or maybe it was above the Pearl. Says he tips thousands on each visit for multiple servers and bartenders and is always pretty hammered. This guy says, yeah, he has a penthouse at Heron. I know him pretty well and do a bit of work for his companies. He's down there a lot. I saw him at the Pearl at the soft opening. He's a fucking lunatic and has a very serious drinking problem. Oh, we got a picture. Hold on. We got a picture.
Please expand this thing.
Yeah, hold on.
His penthouse is a box on top of the roof.
Oh, it's just Ric Flair
Cardboard or
standing
pallet?
up. Yeah, I can't expand it.
Okay.
Let's see.
I'm just walking around Tampa without shoes.
And he's wearing his own merchandise.
God.
Apparently wearing his own merchandise. Standard Rick.
So no questions asked.
So he now lives above a bar.
Of course he does.
Probably in a penthouse, but still. He's always at the Pearl drinking with some random girl of the night while he's texting his wife.
Oh.
Is he still married?
I thought that him and Fifi got a divorce.
Well, this was a year ago, so.
All right, so let me get to the next one because we do have more than one of these.
It's Ric Flair out and about in Tampa.
This one's my favorite. So the title of this one is, so does Ric Flair keep coming to your restaurant and shitting himself?
Oh my God.
The post was deleted though.
Oh no.
Oh, they deleted it? They wasn't deleted.
Yeah.
Put it in there. Oh man. Well, they still have the comment.
Do we
I
wait?
mean,
Do
that's
we?
all it is, right? Isn't that all
I
it
mean,
said?
I think the title kind of speaks for itself. But hold on a second. I might have screen capped it before because I remember I sent it into our group chat because I was like, "What?"
Wayback Machine.
Hold on. I gotta scroll through a whole bunch of. No, maybe I did not do it.
I sent you a screen cap.
Did you?
Yeah, it's in our group thing.
Oh, on X?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on, let me check.
I didn't send you the whole subreddit one. Just the main.
I don't have anything from you, Kev.
I don't know. Maybe it's in one of the. Well, it was in the.
It's in one of the 9,000 group chats that we all have.
It didn't say much else besides what.
Yeah, no, it's just basically like Ric Flair goes into this restaurant and shits himself. So, all right, let's try this Mercedes Moné video again.
Do we have to?
Yeah.
Nope.
Oh, good. Now it's not even gonna pull up.
Well, I posted in the chat. I posted direct links to the top one is the Piper interview, and the second one's the Tony interview. In case the other ones don't work, I also uploaded the Piper interview to our. I took it down and re-uploaded it, and then I put it also in our video assets. So it should one of them should work. Hopefully.
All right, let's see if the
For instance, I've never met Dave Meltzer. Couldn't pick out a line of one. And there was a live audio wrestling show about 4 years ago, and somebody played it for me, and he says, nobody gives a damn about Scott Hall and Roddy Piper anymore. Who are you? Oh, you're picking on me. Okay. So, and the next thing is, when Goldust, I told you, 99.9% stuntman, there was no cut. So anybody with any half intelligence could tell, no, there's no cut here. So it's got to be the same fucking guy. And the fact that he was, in this case, Mr. Meltzer was 99.9% positive. So I take that equation and I said, well, what is your title? I'm a journalist. You're a what? A journalist goes and investigates a story, finds out the truth, and prints it. You couldn't have found out because you were dead wrong.
Thank you, Hot Rod. That is why you're the greatest of all time, my friend.
I love when old wrestlers talk about Meltzer because they didn't hold back at all. Like now the wrestlers, you can tell they at least don't want to get their names ruined or whatever by Meltzer. So a lot of times, if they're big names, they'll kind of keep it close to the vest. But the old guys, man, they didn't give a shit.
Well, and this is why. Nick Beer just made me laugh. With, the maniac loves you, boy. this is why Meltzer loves AEW so much, the way he's never loved anything else before in his life, because these guys, for the first time ever, the wrestlers are dweebs, and so they love him. Whereas, guys like Hogan and Piper never gave him the time of day. So we have more. We have another Tony Khan interview to get through. Now, once again, you've sped this up 1.5 times like you did last week, right?
1.25, because the interviewer talks faster than Tony. So if you did it at 1.5, you couldn't understand the interviewer. So
right, but as with all Tony Khan interviews, we have to speed it up several times because he talks incredibly slow and repeats himself ad nauseum. So let's hear a look at what Tony had to say.
If I enunciate really hard, they won't know I'm high.
And now it's not working.
And now it's not playing. Fuck you, StreamYard. Oh, do you want to share your StreamYard referral link? Yeah, I really do. I really want to share a referral link and put other people into
for
this.
a while. I've been following the growth of this brand. For those not familiar, how big has AEW gotten since you launched a couple years ago?
Well, we have a huge audience. We've got a great partnership with.
All right, lie number one.
Dude, a huge audience.
A great audience.
All right.
Warner Brothers Discovery. We have Wednesday Night Dynamite on TBS every Wednesday night. We've got Saturday Night Collision on TNT every.
This is sped up 1.25 times.
Yeah.
And he's talking at the normal pace of a real person.
You missed lie number 2 because he said he has a great relationship with their partners in WBD.
Oh, so right. Hold on. Let me go back.
Huge audience. We've got a great partnership with Warner Brothers Discovery. We have Wednesday Night Dynamite on TBS every Wednesday night.
Okay, that was true.
Night Collision on TNT every Saturday night. It's and this is the first year of the simulcast. So now the show every Wednesday night at simulcast TBS and Max, every Saturday night TNT and Max. So the company keeps growing, expanding. We have a huge audience. AEW's on in over 150 countries worldwide. Millions of people watch the show every week.
That's millions.
Millions.
And millions
all over the planet. So AEW's grown so much, and the lifeblood of the company.
That's another lie.
Is our great wrestlers, our great fans, and that partnership with Warner Brothers Discovery.
Yet another lie.
I'm trying hard not to have like a wrestling trivia contest with you right now, real time. I'm not gonna do it. But what made you? Before we look forward, what made you start this? Because when you started AEW, I mean, there was WWE.
It's a really good thing this dude is wearing sunglasses because we're not going to be able to see when he rolls his eyes,
which happens a lot. And you can.
If you guys remember last week when we watched the cringy live streams from Tony, from his boat, he kept calling it Con France until the second video when someone apparently was like, "It's Can, you idiot."
Well, this is the interview he did between live streams. So, like, when he was going to the island and then he got to the island, this is the interview he did while he was on the island.
So and somebody here told him that it was not pronounced Con France.
Most likely, yes.
So
that's why I went back to the boat sweaty.
WCW folded, and no other company was competing in. But something must have been going on in your head. Saying, I need to take on a company like
that. It was a great opportunity. We launched AEW in 2019. In 2018, I was looking at the pro wrestling landscape, and I realized there was a real opportunity to launch a challenger brand.
Completely cuts Cody, the Bucks, and Kenny out of this conversation.
Yep.
He was looking to do it in 2018, right?
In this business. That's what's happened with AEW. We've grown the company so much. We started in 2019, and we're coming.
So no mention of the Bucks, Cody, and Omega whatsoever.
And
I didn't just jump the gun.
3 of them are still there, by the way. And
just weeks from now, July 2nd, we're going to celebrate 300 episodes of Wednesday Night Dynamite. Recently, we had this huge milestone, episode 289. That doesn't sound like a round number, but the reason 289 is a big milestone is it signified AEW becoming the longest-running primetime pro wrestling show ever on TBS and TNT. Wednesday Night Dynamite, we've done.
Just his more middle fingers to Eric Bischoff because he can't be him.
300 episodes now. 288 was the previous record. So we've set the record.
Oh, thank you, Tony. I didn't realize that 288 was the record that you beat when you said you beat the record at 289. Thank you. He literally does not have
these accolades. Yeah, these accolades mean absolutely nothing to the bottom line.
And
it's ridiculous.
It's also a lie. I mean, yeah, Kev, do you want to explain why they're not the longest running primetime? I mean, do we have to go over this?
He said PBS.
Saturday night.
Yeah, Saturday
Yes,
night
Saturday
exists.
night exists. The he at least amended the language, because before it was the longest running on cable. People were like, well, TNA is a thing, and then he tried to amend it to TNT and TBS, and everyone was like, what? Like Saturday night was a thing, so it was worldwide. But whatever. We're just
Well,
gonna.
and I love how he had to,
you got to make them up as you go.
well, he had to make up the he had to make up the TBS and TNT, because really it should have been the longest running on TNT, which he didn't get because he got booted off of TNT with Dynamite. So
Right, and then people were getting on him, so he added prime time to say it.
was
But
Saturday night not in prime time?
the last hour was. So I'd say it didn't start in prime time, but it ended in prime time. So I'd say it was prime time, but I don't know.
All right.
I know.
Well, and even then, back then, 6 o'clock was prime time. Back
Yeah,
then,
they switched.
Hell
it.
yeah, especially on a Saturday.
Saturdays.
That
The
was
Simpsons went
prime
on at
viewing
6.
time,
Yeah.
If you remember back in the day, all the major the sitcoms started later, but like the like stuff like 21 Jump Street started at 6 o'clock.
Simpsons
Like the
started at
anchor
6.
shows.
Didn't Simpsons
All right,
start at 6 o'clock?
let's keep going. Let's keep going.
There, TBS and TNT, they have such a great history of showing wrestling. So to be the company that's put on the longest running primetime weekly pro wrestling show ever on Turner Sports, that's pretty sweet. And, we're having a really, really great year. It feels like 2025 is, in a lot of ways, the best year we've had. I mean, we're having a great...
How big is the business? How many sales do you bring in? I mean,
That's
is
a
it
good
making money?
question.
What's-
Fantastic question, and he's terrified right now that someone dared to actually ask him point blank.
He said, "What are your sales?" I love it. Like, cut right
fantastic.
to it. What's your marketing team
This was a
doing?
huge year
How's the
for us.
sales
We grew
department?
the business so much with the simulcast. We brought in new audience with Max and streaming, but also...
Oh my god, hold on. I gotta go
It feels
back,
like
'cause
2025 is, in a lot of ways, the best year we've had. I mean, we're having a great...
How big is the business? How many sales do you bring in? I mean, is it making money? Like, what do you? what's
Guys,
the
we're
business
doing
like?
fantastic. This was a huge year for us. We grew the business so much with the simulcast.
Gotcha.
We brought in new audience with Max and streaming, but also we've been able to grow our cable audience year over year. Frankly, that cable and satellite and
Growth of
streaming...
cable.
That is such a bold-faced lie.
Yeah, terrible.
You could make the argument that they have gained more because of Max, and we don't know the Max numbers, so they can just say. But you can't say that your cable number has grown over year over year, which is what he said. You can't say that.
Well, so he started off by saying, like, it feels like we're having the best year ever, and he actually asked for specifics. And if you notice, he's not actually giving specifics. He's not like, we've grown by X amount of percent. We moved our numbers from this to this. It's just, well, we've grown our audience.
Who's doing that?
Well, honestly, us, because a lot of people thought when you start
Go back,
simulcasting
go back.
AEW on Wednesday nights and Saturday
Okay.
This one's good.
cable audience year over year, frankly, that cable and satellite and
Growth of
streaming-
cable. Who's doing that?
Well, honestly, us, because a lot of people thought when you start...
You're
What was the question?
Growth
He
in
goes, growth in
cable. Who's
cable.
doing that? Us. You're not. It's verifiably smaller.
No, the only person who will say that it's bigger is the person we're going to show you said it was bigger.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they've got
simulcasting AEW on Wednesday nights and Saturday nights. Oh, okay. Well, a lot of people, they're still going to watch the show, but people are going to migrate to streaming. Well, actually, our cable audience, when we started simulcasting, went up, and we have a great audience on Max streaming every week, too.
It wasn't just a passing comment.
He's saying that their audience. Did he just basically say that their audience on cable is bigger than their audience on Max?
No, he said that after they went to Max, their cable numbers went up.
That's verifiably false.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
It went up
false.
it went like maybe like 1 week. Like for the Mexico show, it'll go up, but
No, not from last year, not from the year.
oh yeah, no,
before.
not from last year, but like from the week before, maybe.
Right. No, but he's talking about year over year.
Oh, okay.
So
So we have been able to do that, and we've really maintained and grown a great audience over the years. AEW, we say it's where the best wrestle, and I really believe that's true. I think we have the best roster of wrestlers in the world.
Key point, because I think you and I would both agree that talent is what makes wrestling. And I look back over the years, in the 80s, it was really gigantic people yelling into a screen, cutting, 30-second snippets. But what makes a great talent now?
Making millions of dollars every goddamn year, you flake.
Total package, different than the total
Lex
package.
Luger. Oh, you didn't think, come on. You aren't going to get that one past me.
I knew you were going to say that. That's okay. I know
wrestling.
I've watched wrestling in the 90s.
Haystacks Calhoun. Wahoo McDaniel. Andre the Giant. Come on.
I think that exactly. You got to have somebody that has all the skills right now. That total package. You want to have somebody that has the ability to.
So the question was, what makes a great wrestler? Well, they have to have all the skills.
All of them.
Thank you. Thank you for your talent assessment, Tony.
They're best if they're good at everything. That's what
talk and connect with the audience, somebody that has charisma, and somebody that's a great athlete. The fans want great pro wrestling matches in 2025, and they deserve
that's
great
a lie,
matches, and that's what AEW gives.
Damn, just him and matches.
The fans every Wednesday night on TBS, every Saturday night on TNT. We've got a roster of wrestlers from Hangman Page to Jon Moxley, Will Ospreay, MJ.
Bucks.
This guy has no idea who any single person he just named is.
None.
But he knows who Lex Luger is.
Mercedes Moné, Timeless Tony Storm, so many great wrestlers that can connect with the audience. They have charisma, but also they're great.
Kenny Omega.
Connect with the audience.
No Bucks or Kenny Omega. That's interesting.
It is.
A lot of CEOs that I've talked to, Ken, so far, I'm getting mixed reads on the economy. What do you see through your ticket sales, your sales at the stands where I go get like a?
We're fucked. Come on. What do you see with your ticket sales? Come on, man. There's no way he can lie about this.
They've gone up year over year.
3, 2.
A great year. So for AEW, it's been really strong. I think you have to work really hard to earn the fans' trust or earn the fans' spending these days.
You have done the opposite.
You've run them off.
You have violated their trust, and your audiences in live arenas have shrunk dramatically. You've killed more buildings than a tornado.
F5, man. Finger of God.
Oh.
You have to really put on a compelling product. At the movie theaters, the movies that draw are the big tentpole movies. It's changed a lot. Just to look.
Tentpole movies like Batman and Robin.
You know what? Comparing AEW to the movie theater industry right now might actually be the most honest thing that he's done in this entire conversation.
No, he's
great independent movies like
Mark,
Independence Day 2.
He's saying, look at movie theaters. They're doing bad, but AEW, we're great. That's what he's saying.
I was looking at the movies that came out around 20 years ago, around the holidays. I saw like 14 movies a month.
And all of them were Time Cop.
14 movies a month because you're the son of a billionaire.
Yeah, 14 movies a month because you didn't have to work. You had nothing else to do.
14 movies a month. What was he watching? Like French noir films and art houses?
No, he had a movie theater.
Kevin saw Phantom Menace 100 times.
Yeah,
so.
Awful. You're misunderstanding. He had a movie theater in his basement. He just went down there.
Yeah, like Richie Rich having the McDonald's in his house.
Yeah, the maid put something on and he watched it.
How was that the second time in a week that I brought up Richie Rich having a McDonald's in his house on a live stream?
I think you're trying to shoehorn it in there, aren't you?
Yeah.
Massage it in.
Back in the 90s. Now people don't see 12, 14 movies a month around, the winter and the summer.
Did that.
No one ever did.
Yeah, really.
If you went to the movies once a week, you saw 4 movies. To see what came out that week. No one goes to see 14 movies anymore. You were the only human being that did that.
Unless you theater hopped.
20 years ago. 20 years ago, theater prices were still relatively expensive compared to So I'm like, what are you talking about? And we're in the era of now movies are 2.5 hours long. No.
He's Lucille Bluth. It's a banana, Michael. What could it cost? $10.
I think when you're asking about the economy for AEW, 2025 has been a great year for us. But I'm not going to lie. Like when we started in AEW in 2019, there were a lot of shows, there were a lot of channels, and frankly, media's consolidated and changed. And I'm really proud that after 6 years, AEW is still a
See, you got to look. You can't look back at the time. See, the time when we were doing really good, there was more competition. But now that there's not as much competition, we're doing worse. So really, 2025 is the best year we've ever had.
huge part of the conversation and growing.
Well, Warner Brothers, like you mentioned, Warner Brothers is splitting up. What does that mean for your deal, your rights deal with them?
That's a great question. I know that AEW.
I like how Marv thinks that he's gonna have to spill the truth after the question's been asked. Like he's still gonna bullshit the way.
Of course,
through it.
Of course, he's gonna lie. I mean,
uh-oh.
That's a great question. I know that AEW, for both sides of where Warner Brothers is going, we have great relationships with everybody at the top, both on global networks and streaming.
Right.
So I'm sorry, he said that they have great relationships with everybody. I'm sorry, the guy taking over the part of the company that you are definitely going with is a hack and slash master who has who has absolutely nothing to gain from sucking up to your father.
Tony Khan literally just said there's great people on both sides. I'm going to point that out.
Never said that.
David Zaslav's bonuses just got cut by an astronomical amount. Like, this is not a company like this split. He's talking about like this exciting new opportunity. It's not a good thing.
Studios. Mr. Zaslav himself put our deal together. Gunnar, who will be running global networks, also was very involved in our deal as the CFO. The two of them and Bruce Campbell really negotiated this deal with AEW and myself and my team.
Bruce Campbell?
On both sides. We got a good relationship.
What? Bubba Hotep. Is it
Groovy?
Hail to the king.
Nice.
Autolycus yodeling.
Shop smart.
And both sides that really love AEW and have come to be great partners with AEW. So for us, it's been a big year, 2025, and now we're kind of on both sides of that equation. We are a big part of TBS and TNT, the crown jewels of the global network side, and then we're also a huge now part of streaming and studios with AEW streaming.
All right, you are not a huge part of streaming and studios. They don't promote you.
No, he just said, didn't you hear, Marv? He said the head of one company put together his deal, and the head of the other company also put together his deal. So he's in a great spot. This is like your parents get divorced and you get to stay at both houses all the time somehow. That's what happens.
What?
Just going back in time.
Pete Pirro for $50. Remember, Tony, it's not a lie if you believe it.
Right.
That's your First Cup special.
Thank you very much. I gotta find a clip for you. That's I already said the minor one. Oh, you know what? The old classic.
All I do is win, no matter what. Got money on my mind. Everybody hands go up, and they stay there, and they stay there.
Thank you very much, Pete. All right, let's see what else Tony has. Oh,
whoa!
My goodness. Yeah.
My
Hold
gosh.
on.
We got one.
Colin Taylor checking in for $50. If AEW is the crown jewel, then TBS is a Burger King. Oh, it's a fantastic quote. And it's true, right?
Yes. And Colin Taylor, thank you for spreading the good word about Toonie Talk Wrestling all over Japan.
Yes, thank you for bringing it over there, man. You know what? You got one of my favorite clips.
A wild slapnuts appears. Double J, Jeff Jarrett.
Oh, I love that one. Thank you very much, Colin Taylor. All right, let's get back to Tony Khan and what he has to say for himself.
Every week, so it's exciting.
Next up, we've seen a host of promoters become part of the storyline in wrestling. I watch AEW. I've now watched every episode, full disclosure. Are you the type of promoter that is going to take a chair to the head? Do you want to take a...
He clearly has never watched AEW.
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously.
Because not only did
I've watched every episode. So have you ever done this thing that is verifiable?
He went to the draft wearing a neck brace last year, and this guy still doesn't know about it.
I mean, listen. He said he's watched
A honky tonk.
He didn't say he was awake
type
for
of
that episode.
Yeah, I really don't want to get into the ring, and I like to think of myself as the commissioner as more of a device. You know, when you watch NFL football, we have a great commissioner.
I've always thought you were kind of a tool.
What? Hold on a second. Do you say the NFL is a great commissioner?
No. Of course. He has to.
He's done so many great things for the league, and the way the NFL features Roger, I think it's fantastic. It's great to have the commissioner involved in the game. He makes the rulings from on high, but when you watch an NFL football game, it's not 47 minutes of Roger. And you don't need to see 47 minutes of me on Dynamite, nor do you ever really see
unless I have a
What
huge
the hell?
me on the show as the matchmaker and the promoter.
9 days from tonight.
And one time I was attacked, and I am very lucky to be sitting here with you right now, Brian. 1 year ago, I survived.
Oh, stop it.
The deadliest move in pro wrestling, the spike pile driver.
Ooh,
the spike pile driver.
Wait, he did
Have
not
you heard of
call
the
it
spike
Meltzer
pile driver?
He did not call it the Meltzer driver. If he does not mention the Bucks here too, that's going to be something else also.
We're still doing that?
Yeah, it's banned in several states. It's illegal in the state of Tennessee. It's illegal in Mexico.
He's still running that line,
And,
too.
We'll be heading to Mexico this week. The first ever AEW show in Mexico is tomorrow. Okay. I'll be flying from here to Mexico City. I'm doing this with you and jumping on the plane and really.
Can you fucking believe it?
Going from wire to wire. This is beautiful here, and Mexico City's going to be great. And you know,
I look like a
don't wanna
fucking
necessarily
arms
get into the
dealer
ring.
out
My
here.
one time I got tricked and attacked in the ring is enough to keep me out for life.
All right, well, Tony Khan, always actually good to connect with you. All right.
Oh my goodness!
This guy's hairline be back any further?
Dude, I was just about to say, it looks like he's getting interviewed by Sheldon.
No, I think his hairline has actually receded several inches during this conversation because his hair follicles were trying to get as far away from Tony Khan as humanly possible.
Honey, what was it like when you got smacked around by Sonny Crockett?
But Marv,
All right.
didn't mention the Bucks. He didn't mention it was the Bucks.
He did not. He did not. But guys, only he lied so many times. Only a total idiot, an absolute moron, would actually believe the things that he just said. So let's get into how much Dave defended the things that he said. Dis, are they in order?
Yeah, they're in order from 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the crash out at the end. So
okay. So somebody says, I don't defend anyone, least of all him, Tony Khan, unless it's something factually incorrect. Freudian slip. And then he goes, sorry, Tony Khan ruined your life by creating a non-WWE company and not failing like you spent 6 years insisting. If you had listened to me, you'd have read my article in November 2019 looking at the cable landscape in AEW. You'd at least not got into denial for so long or be mad every week. God, he's so pompous. He's so pompous.
Sorry, Tony Khan ruined your life.
So this guy said
something else, dude.
What he's saying is lies, talking about Tony. He goes, point one out. We just pointed out a million of them. I'll help you. AEW Dynamite is not up on cable compared to the same period last year, but it is up from Q4 2024 before Max. Other than that, point out anything that's misleading or incorrect. Point out one lie, except for this one lie that I'm going to now point out.
Who gives a crap about Q4 2024 Max? Who cares?
It's like he started writing this tweet to be like defiantly point one out and then realized that there was a very blatant lie and then had to explain it. And other than that, point out anything that's misleading or incorrect.
Yeah.
He had to give one of his Meltzer facts where like you can maybe manipulate the numbers in a certain way and turn your head and squint and maybe it looks like a bigger number. Tony Khan addresses AEW's viewership since they started simulcasting on Max. very calmly short-circuiting
Oh
people's
my
brains.
God.
Because he's lying. Uncle Dave got triggered by the truth. I'm the single last person getting triggered about anything to do with wrestling. Oh my God.
He typed that 3 seconds after that guy posted it. That's exactly what happened.
Triggered. You're triggered.
You're all fucking triggered.
Why are you crashing out, bro?
Look, I can't say I know the real number, and the Bethel number.
Hold on.
In quotes.
I was going to say, hold on. Noah's in quotes. How is this supposed to make his point? When he's already saying, I don't know.
He's like Chris Farley on SNL doing the guy that does the air quotes with everything.
Yeah.
Look, I can't say that I know the real number, and the Bethel number feels high to me, although I did an unscientific poll that rendered results consistent with his report.
Oh,
how do you unscientific poll to get the results that you want?
I saw a pigeon flying by, and I asked it how it felt about the numbers. It said cuckoo and kept going.
And then I said, what do you think about WWE? And it crapped on the ground.
Right.
Results
verified.
Unscientific. I wrote a detailed story on his report. It was very detailed. That said, the idea the number is small or insignificant because you're afraid of AEW's success is really telling on yourself. Who goes to bat for any company on the world this hard?
We're afraid. We're afraid. He's not just angry anymore. Now he's saying we're afraid of AEW's success.
AEW's success is under your bed, and it keeps you up at night.
The boogeyman checks under his bed for AEW's success.
Tony Khan gives you night terrors.
AEW
wake up in cold sweats.
All right, so here comes Raj Giri, a guy who I really want to get on the show one day. He just says, how is it up from Q4 2024 when Dynamite averaged 0.19 in Q4 2024 in their normal time slot and averaged a 0.17 in Q1 2025? Not to mention, he said cable numbers were up year over year. They were up from the end of last year. So basically, Tony lied and Dave lied because he said that it was up from Q4 2024 to Q1 2025, and it wasn't.
Right. They're all liars.
Max. It's always Max.
Ratings from Q4, Q2 is now up 7% for Dynamite, 28% for Collision. And that doesn't include no Max in Q4 and Max in Q2. If you factor in Max with the absolute most pessimistic number, it's minimum 41% for Dynamite. Based on the only numbers we've actually gotten for Max would be 92%. God.
What?
It's just word salad.
It's Common Core math.
Look,
That's what's happening here.
You can't expect
shit.
You can't expect him to communicate clearly through the written word. He's only a professional writer, supposedly.
Right.
AEW seems to be on the upswing viewers-wise, but unfortunately, we only know how much internationally, not nationally. WWE is down by a lot, but that's due to changes going off TV in the US and India for Raw and losing network for SmackDown. But their popularity is still very strong. That must have hurt him to say. Somebody says, I think even Dave would agree the same applies to the last 2 to 3 years of AEW. I don't remember what that was in response to, but I remember seeing this thread. He goes, it was the incompetence of the end of WCW. Right. The incompetence the last 2 to 3 years of AEW compared to late 98 to 2000 WCW is like comparing a really painful paper cut to open heart surgery.
Oh, but WCW had more people watching it.
Right, and Tony is also making the exact same mistakes that Bischoff made, which is what Bischoff keeps saying, which is why they get mad at him.
And it's made worse because it's now in a world of streaming.
So then Dave talked about grifters, and Jimmy Corderas goes, "Even you are using the term grifters, Dave? Come on." He goes, "Yes, people who play upon the." I can't even get through this one.
Yes, people who play upon the naivete of the audience. Someone who makes money by lying to people.
Oh my God. If he had a moment of self-awareness, he'd blip out of existence.
It's like one crack open a dictionary, you fucktard. you
lied professionally.
Look at your spittled covered mirror, you cretin.
One with toothpaste bits.
Good Lord. It just
and hair dye all over it.
By the way, this is like we have literally like 20 of these tweets this week by the guy who was the last guy to ever get triggered by anything wrestling. Some systems will
This man tweets 20 deep
a day. Only through 10 p.m. on DVR, so make sure to check and see if it records the next 30 minutes, and to be on the safe side 10 minutes after that. But the length of tonight's show is scheduled as 2:30, but they often do overruns. Thanks, Dave.
Yeah, now he's TV guide for AEW. It's crazy.
It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your dynamite is?
Yeah.
Do you realize I have pulled one
What about Mountain Time, Dave?
I have pulled one of these every week. He does this every week since I've taken over pulling stuff for the show. How do you give how are you that like in bed with somebody and not admit it and act like nothing's wrong, you know?
Look at
Please
this. Look at this
tell me
stupid thing.
there's a damn palate cleanser tonight.
Says if CM Punk were to leave right now, there's no way Tony would take him back because he has a hardened heart, can't forgive, even if it's best for business. That isn't going to happen, but if Punk came to Tony and apologized to him and other key people, he'd take him back in a heartbeat. But it's not worth debating because both can't happen and won't. And somebody asked, come on. Hold on. Come on. All right. Wait.
Why isn't it working?
Well, I think you posted the same thing twice.
Oh, I'll fix that.
What do you see?
No, I didn't. It's showing up okay on my end.
No, both of these are. This is davepunksawi.jpg. It's
it showed up as different things on my end, but I will do this one here.
All right.
There you go.
There we go. Somebody says, why should CM Punk apologize for a series of actions that caused an independent legal investigation team and an internal legal team at the company's disciplinary committee headed by Bryan Danielson to all unanimously recommend his firing? Oh, my gosh.
Oh, shut up.
He is so butthurt that they bit his friend. Variety reported the Rainmaker, having nothing to do with Okada, debuts on USA on 8:15 at 2 p.m. That would indicate SmackDown goes back to 2 hours that night.
So this was him.
Wing and a miss, Dave.
So yeah, he said that it was going to 2 hours just for one night because of the Rainmaker debuting. But he also had to point out that it had nothing to do with Okada.
Is that him attempting to be fun? Is that his attempt at a joke? Variety reported the Rainmaker having nothing to do with Okada.
Sensible chuckle.
Yeah.
Like Sheldon Cooper trying to make a joke.
Could you bazinga? Could you imagine like what his laugh sounds like? Because I can't imagine it.
We've heard his laugh. It's the one where his tongue sticks out all crazy.
Oh yeah, it's a silent laugh. He just wags his tongue around. Him and my dog have the same laugh. Someone says the lack of self-awareness in not noticing that statement applies to yourself is quite astonishing about being a grifter. He goes, and what were the key points in last week's lead story on the WBD split? Sorry, but you don't even read, thus you have no idea.
So the funny thing is that each one of these comments he responds to individually, and I pull both of them.
So the one guy says, meanwhile, a few days ago, you criticized an Al Snow comment about a lack of heat for Mexican wrestling, which was made at least 25 years ago. And he's like,
that was, there you go.
Yeah. Considering how wrong it was 25 years ago, what is the problem? Because you made it seem like he said it today. Just like you thought Triple H and The Rock having a backstage vignette from 10 years ago was just done now.
Oh, Kev wasn't here. You missed it. We are members of the Imbecilic Meltzer Hate Club.
Oh,
Yeah.
Nice.
Meltzer
Does it
made our
come with a
club name.
plaque?
Yeah,
So
we have a house.
certificate.
We have a clubhouse. You have to.
Yes.
No girls are allowed though. So.
So this guy says, I couldn't give two shits about the WBD split, you retarded boomer. What exactly does the WBD split have to do with your lacking self-awareness and that you're a total grifter yourself? The guy also says, you're a grifter and your lack of self-awareness is hilarious. But what about the key points of the WBD split? You don't read. And he goes, there you go. You don't read. That's what I do. I think the lack of self-awareness would be on you because I am rubber and you are glue. And whatever you say bounces off of me and sticks to you.
So we don't have a palate cleanser per se, but if you go to the top, Mark, you can see the fun little thing we have at the end.
Apparently, Dave Meltzer's YouTube page was hacked. And someone just changed it to Live Elon with the Tesla logo.
Oh, God.
This was live Tesla first self-driving AI robotaxi that will change the car industry forever with 1.5K watching live on the F4W on ITV.
We don't think this is funny at all.
No.
We think this is terrible.
It's probably amazing because Meltzer probably hates Elon.
You're right.
Oh.
If you go to the front page, it might still be hacked. If you want to go check out to see if that
I
page
don't
is
care enough.
still. But yeah, if you go to it, it's still it says my channel on it, and it has a bunch of like the regular videos are a bunch of crypto videos, and then you get to Dave. So, he got a crypto scammer to hack him.
All right, let's get to some more of these super chats, and I think we're about done. You guys missed the Monet Mag last week. Kev did it.
You're in a bottle again.
Yeah, what's happened?
Yeah, we can't.
Oh, what? You can't hear me?
There you go.
You and your
Now
car
you're
again.
Literally nothing changed. I just said a different word. John Williams for 199 says AAA hates CMLL as much as Vince hates Ted Turner. Okay.
Well, that was to go with the whole thing where I said that maybe WWE is more worried about CMLL than they are AEW. So.
Okay. Yeah, probably. 1KQ for $2 New Zealand said father and son championship. Costco, I said we read that one already. David Carradine's Closet for $6.99 Canadian says Tay Mello and Anna Jay is the father and son tag team I can get behind.
Oh dear.
I bet.
BT23 for $10 says don't know if been talked about, but if winner of Cody RKO takes on Cena Punk, possible Seth cash-in, who takes on Gunther at SummerSlam because don't see Goldberg winning. Goldberg is definitely winning. Could lawsuit have Mox lose title? All right, so there's a couple things here. Gunther, I think Goldberg is going to take it on at Night of Champions and then drop it sometime after that, maybe at SummerSlam, probably back to Gunther or to Braun or whatever. Could lawsuit have Moxley lose the title? I don't think so. I don't think Tony cares. It's just money.
I think
it's just money. There's always more of it.
Yeah, I think Goldberg is going to lose a cash-in to Seth at Night of Champions, but it's going to be because of Braun Breaker, and I think they're going to do something with Braun Breaker. I don't think this is Goldberg's last match. I know that now they're kind of saying that it is, but I don't think. I think they're going to get one more out of it, and I think that it's going to be against Breaker. Because the setup's right there, dude. You know.
Craig Churchill for $2 Canadian says, "Bring Luchasaurus back to team with a small gecko." See that? Regina Sharp for $5 says, "I remember when the History Channel showed History. I feel old." Yeah, how about that? Forever Runner for $4.99 says, "Run fast enough, and you go super Mexican. You can fight them off with a lawnmower." Craig Churchill for $5 Canadian says a collection of chipped up Franklin Mint NASCAR plates are worth more than all those belts with Monet holding them. Probably.
John Williams people.
John Williams from 199 says, I'm looking for my next ex-wife. Woo! No prenuptial agreements because this is love now.
I thought his last like marriage, quote unquote, wasn't even like a marriage. It was like, we're cohabitations, partners or some mess.
Mm-hmm.
Was it? I mean, it could have been.
I think so.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't an actual marriage. It was just like, we're just going to be together forever, baby.
Juan Alacon for $5 says, if pooping your pants is cool, then call me Miles Davis. Ric Flair probably. And then he closes it out with a big old CWJ 128 for 5 says AEW wrestlers in terms of athleticism would be in the bottom 10% of the NXT locker room. Well, yeah, because they have to work out and stuff.
Yep.
Christopher Miller for $5. If Tony was Pinocchio, his nose would be up his own rear end by now after circling the globe after that tirade. Yeah, it was pretty heinous. Regina Sharp for $5 says, I'm not owned. I continue to exist as I slowly shrink and transform into a corn cob. John Williams for $199 says, stop copying my Steiner math. Joseph J. Alexander for $2 says, Tony Khan is my sleep paralysis demon.
That's the funniest thing Joseph J. Alexander's ever said.
Andre Adams for $199 says, what the hell does Dave smoke? Regina Sharp for $2 says, I don't know Andre Adams, but I want some. Also, Regina Sharp for $2 says, Dave's so high he needs clearance from NASA. And Andre Adams for $4.99 says, I think Meltzer is the seventh sign in reverse. If he starts making sense, reality unravels. So, all right, gentlemen, that about does it for tonight. Fun show as always. But why don't you tell the fine folks what's going on with Maxed Out Media and what you're up to?
Hey, we're working on stuff. Max is actually making some videos about something called a floppa. So we're gonna you might have that coming up. It's a meme. I don't know, dude. He's gotten into territory that I'm not aware of, but that should be up shortly. Also, you can if you're a member of our Discord, you can check us out every Monday and Friday. We hang out and watch SmackDown together and Raw, and we talk. So you can go there. You can follow me at AEW Disciplinary, but most of all, please download our podcast on whatever service you use. We are available every Friday. We go up and give us a review. And if you're listening to the audio version right now, make sure you come every Tuesday to youtube.com/Toon Wrestling, and you can be a part of it live. The link will be in the description of the podcast, so you can just go there and check us out. And we'd love to have you here. We have a lot of fun with the people live. So
Awful. Tell us about your YouTube channel.
Yay, when I'm not interrupting tonight's host, I have run a YouTube channel, AEW FUL Wrestling, and I'm also on Twitter at AEW FUL Wrestling. And of course, every Tuesday right here on Toonie Talk Wrestling. And just as an aside, I apologize for nothing. Thank you.
Kev, you got anything to plug?
I don't know. Well, I guess in a couple of weeks, Lauren and I will be doing Lauren and Apollo versus the World. Lauren has some cool stuff planned for us that day that I won't drop. I'll let him drop that little surprise. And then, I don't know, I guess maybe I'll ask you guys to help me name my YouTube channel, because I don't know what to call it yet. And the Kevin Apollo channel seems a little boring.
Yeah, I get you.
All
right, guys. Well, we will see you guys Saturday for Night of Champions. And for all of us there on the Trinity Town channels, I'm Marvin the Movie Monster. Now get out of here!
Now, Perry the Platypus, feel the wrath of my thank you-inator!
Thank you, you piece of trash.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you! Oh, I suppose you want me to say thank you. Well, you know what? Saying thank you is like jobbing. Thank you!
I got a little message. Thank you. Ooh, yeah.
Oh, thank you! Oh, thank you! Thank you! Thank you! Thank you! Thank you!
Thanks? For what?
Hi-ho from all of us here at Tooney Town. Thank you.
And viewers like you. Thank you.